What's going on, world? DS1 Ross, and I'm back. Shout out to everybody, man. Shout out to everybody who support me and who support this platform, Sheep Stay Sleep TV. It's very much appreciated, man. Much love. Tonight, I will be giving my movie breakdown of The Joker. Um, shout out to shout out to my man James Kills. You know, he be coming through. He be supporting me. Shout out to him for the support. But he definitely, he asked for me to give my breakdown or my analysis on the movie. So if you have not seen the movie yet, um, definitely go check it out. I'm not gonna give too much spoilers, but I'm just gonna give my interpretation of the movie in general because the movie basically depicts how the Joker came about. Now, mind you, when I was young, I I read comic books. You know, my love for comic books got cut short when I was young because for some reason my mom just felt the reason to just throw everything away that I liked, At at one point I had crates full of comic books. And when we left New York, she threw all my comic books away. But I was never a really I never was really big on, DC characters. I was a Marvel fan. That's why I love the Avengers. Um, I never was a big Batman fan. Um, I never really liked the Fantastic Four. I never was really big on the DC universe. I was a Marvel kid, maybe because I'm a millennial. So, a lot of us, kind of was steered to go a certain way. So, growing up, I loved X-Men. I was my favorite character on the X-Men is Nightcrawler. So I've always my two favorite characters is Nightcrawler and Beast. Um, so I've always had a fascination for dark characters. So when they previewed that the Joker movie was coming out, when I went to see uh, the Avengers, the second Avengers, I was intrigued, man, because I always, like I said, I always had a fascination with dark characters since I was young. So I definitely, if you have not seen the movie, like I said, go see the movie. Um, I'm not gonna give away the movie, but I will. Um, I'm gonna definitely talk a little bit about the movie. So shout out to everybody that's tuning in right now. Much appreciated. And like I said, shout out to my man James Kills for asking me to do this breakdown. I appreciate you, bro. Much love for always supporting me. You know, um, it's appreciated, man. So the Joker, man, Arthur Fleck. Arthur Fleck. Now, when I was young, I watched the Batman movies, the first Batman that came out in the 90s when I was a kid. Um, I think that was Michael Keaton who played Batman. Um, I liked Batman. I liked the movie. Um, but what I noticed with Batman was, and I guess this is why I never really liked Batman, because he was too human for me, But I liked his lifestyle. I liked how he was cool, and he drove the Batmobile, and he grew up. Well, he grew up because they didn't really show too much when he was little in that movie, but um, he had a butler. He was a well-to-do guy, and I always found shit like that cool. That was one reason why I like Iron Man. Tony Stark, because he was just a cool dude. So I never understood, the whole story about Gotham, because after I watched the first Batman, after that, like once I started getting older, I really kind of shied away from the whole Batman series. But with me seeing the Joker movie, now I understand what Gotham was, and you know what it entailed, you know. And now with me seeing this movie, I can understand how these bad guys, why they hated Batman, you know. But Arthur Fleck, he was a very he's very intriguing to me. You know, his life his life was so, he had a lot of pain in his life, very traumatic. And you can kind of see that played out in his character, as far as his perspective on life. And like I said, that was always intriguing to me. Ever since I was a kid, I always wondered why the villain was the villain. Why? Because when I was growing up, they always pushed the heroes on us. And they still kind of do it today. But I always questioned, why do they always push us to be heroes? What is so wrong with being a villain? And who even said that these people were villains? Like, and here's one spoiler. Like Arthur said in the movie, he said, when people tell you, well, the people who are in charge of society, they pretty much determines what's funny and what's not. So you laugh at whatever they tell you is funny. And you're going to see that when you watch the movie, who he's talking to when he says this. Because he wanted to be a comedian. And there's a part where he goes out and he tries out, and people are not laughing at his jokes. They're laughing at him. And this is what's been going on his whole life. This is why he named himself the Joker. Because his life is a joke. People didn't laugh at his dark comedy. They pretty much laughed at him. They didn't laugh at his jokes. He was the joke. And they didn't understand that he was basically born with mental illness. You know, he was, that laugh that you guys hear that made the Joker so prevalent was out of a mental illness. It wasn't him trying to be funny. And see, when I read the comic books and when I watched, you know, the movies when I was younger, I thought that was just part of his character. Like, you know, he's a joker, he's a comedian. So he has an evil laugh. But the guy has a mental illness. And when he gets nervous or he starts feeling, it's like he starts getting anxiety attacks and he starts laughing and he can't control his laugh. And shout out to Joaquin Phoenix, man, because man, he mastered that laugh. He mastered Joker's laugh. He mastered his walk. He mastered the dance. Like, he mastered that shit. He really embodied the spirit of the character of the Joker. Because he will put the laugh on like instantaneously. And it was the same every time. It was great. But people didn't understand the Joker. You know, he grew up single mother. He grew up taking care of his mom. You know, on top of him having his own illnesses, his own mental illnesses. He went out in the world and he realized that he was born in a world where nobody cares. This is the Joker's perspective on what he was born into. No one cared. Everybody basically was living a blue pill life to him. He understood that most of the people in the world are sheep. They don't think for themselves. They do what they're told. They do it a way that somebody tells them to do it. And a lot of people saw that to be normal, but he didn't. Hence, the black pill perspective. Because he didn't see the world the way everybody else did. And he was not a conformist. He didn't conform to what everybody thought was normal. And he tried. He tried his best to fit in. He tried his best to be normal. You know, he went out and he worked. You know, because he had to take care of his mom. So he went out and he found jobs, and he he tried. But every time he tried to fit in and tried to figure out his place in this crazy world, he always noticed that there was something to remind him that he wasn't like everybody else. You see? Every time he tried, he realized that he was not them. He wasn't the average person that lived in Gotham, that got up every day and just went to work, and, you know, because of his experiences. Like I said, he has mental illnesses. You know, the Joker was on like maybe 10 different meds, maybe more. And he was put on this medicine to basically level him out so he can actually want to be normal. Because when he don't have his medicine, he's untamable. He's he represents he represents he represented chaos. You see? And what I realized about him was his comedy was pretty much kind of like how, and rest in peace to Patrice O'Neal, but how he formulated or formatted his jokes, where he spoke about himself. He made jokes out of the things that were traumatic in his life. This is why a lot of people didn't like Patrice O'Neal. They didn't like his comedy. They said it was too dark. And it's because he talked about what people are afraid to talk about. And that was the basis of the Joker's comedy. You know, in one part, I'm going to give y'all another spoiler. In one part of the movie, he kept a book. He would always write. And that is because he saw a psychiatrist. He went to therapy. And, you know, when you go to therapy and you have mental illness, or when you just go to therapy and you have, you have things that you want to work out within yourself, a lot of times they tell you to keep a journal. So he kept a journal. He would write things down. And one thing that he wrote was, when you have mental illness, people like to treat you as if you don't. And that shit really hit home with me. And this is the reason why I feel like, this is part of the reason why I feel like they're talking about banning the movie. Or, I don't know if they're going to, but I guess they're talking about it. It's because it's speaking to a perspective of a lot of people in society today. A lot of people suffer from mental illness. And what the higher ups like to do is they like to throw those people to the side and and basically hide those people in society. And Joker was one of those people. He didn't exist. He never felt accepted. And being that he had mental illness, people will just write you off as if you're nothing. So when he wrote that in his journal, I'm like, wow, that was deep. Because there's a lot of people like that in society. Could you imagine if somebody just filmed for maybe like a week or two inside of any one of these psych wards and just sat down and spoke and talked to these people and just was pleasant to them and let them just talk? Could you imagine the stories you would hear from these people about what they've been through in their life? See, one time, this is when I was still living in New York, because now in New York too, there's a lot of mentally ill people that are homeless in the streets. And every once in a while, you have these little incidents that go on in New York with, with mentally ill people, people pushing people in front of trains. People are getting randomly attacked. And this is because a lot of these psych wards, man, they don't care about these people. And once they lose their funding, they'll just kick you out. If your insurance can no longer pay for you to stay in Bellevue so they could keep you medically induced so you don't do something crazy, they'll just kick you out and put you out on the streets. So you see a lot of these people in Harlem, a lot of these people in Brooklyn, and they just walking around, and people think that these are just homeless people, but these are people who were in psych wards. They were in what we call the G building. And one day I was on a train. I was in Harlem. And I was actually on a platform waiting for the train. I was at 125th Street, on a 4 train line. And this guy, he was an Arab guy. He just walked up to me and started talking to me. And he was asking me, he was lost. He didn't know which way the trains went. He didn't know which way to go. But I noticed when he was talking to me, he was kind of off. He was kind of off. And I'm like, this dude is not wrapped too tight. But I was still talking to him. I didn't feel threatened. I didn't feel threatened at all. And I was telling him, if you want to go, to a certain place, you can get on the train with me and I'll tell you what stop to get off, because I could tell that he couldn't read the signs. This guy was thrown off. I can tell. So we got on the train and, he kept telling me, where he was from. You know, he was from Afghanistan. And he was telling me how he moved out here, a couple of years ago, and he was just trying to get home. That's what he kept telling me. I want to go home. I'm trying to get home. And I'm asking him, I'm like, so how did you get out here? And he couldn't really explain to me how he got out here, how he got to Harlem. But where he wanted to go was still Harlem, but it was like at the beginning of Harlem. He came way up than where he was supposed to be. And when he told me, it clicked. I said, oh yeah, this dude is in a mental institution. Because where he wanted to go, that whole area is where a big mental institution is. So I'm talking to him, and I noticed how this lady, she walked past, and he spoke to her, and she kind of like looked at him a certain way and kind of like, kind of snarled at him a little bit, like twisted her face up at the guy. And he didn't like that. And he took it very, very personal because the energy changed. And he got upset. And he started talking, and he was upset. And I calmed him down. I tried my best to calm him down because he was ready to follow the lady. And this is on the train. And I'm like, nah, man, it's okay. I'm like, yo, just relax. I gave him my water. I said, here, take this. Just relax, man. Don't worry about nobody else. Because he started to feel, he basically started having a panic attack. He started feeling like he wasn't feeling good about himself. And he started moving around. He started talking loud, like start having outbursts, almost like how when Joker starts to feel a certain way, he starts laughing hysterically. So I calmed him down, and I realized, man, from that situation that people treat these kind of people extremely messed up, man. Extremely messed up. And there's another incident in the movie where you're gonna see that happen with the Joker on public transportation. I'm not gonna give that away, but y'all gonna see that. Where some strag just gets him out of character. When all he was trying to do was just be himself. So, like I said, what I noticed, man, is that the people who control society, they hide guys like the Joker away. They kind of shun them and push them away, so almost they don't exist to people. They're not relevant. They're not relevant. They're not relevant. And see, for the Joker's entire life, he wanted to be accepted by the outside world. Because he didn't understand why people didn't accept him. He wanted to know why people treated him the way they treated him. He wanted to understand why his life was the way it was. And that just makes me think about the guy that I met on the train, man. You know, I hope that dude is still alive. I hope he's somewhere safe. I hope he didn't hurt anyone. Honestly, I hope he didn't hurt anyone. Good looking Hills in on that donation, man. I appreciate it. But what I gathered from this movie is the people who people think are mentally ill or who are mentally ill are the ones in society who look at the people who are considered normal. They look at us like something's wrong with us, when we're looking at them like something's wrong with them. But we should begin to ask ourselves, who's the one with the real issues? Is it them or is it really us? And see, I kind of noticed in the movie Us, if y'all ever saw the movie Us kind of mirrors this too, where they had a whole underground network of people who were basically shut out in society. And these people lived underground. And this is how it is in these mental institutions. These people are shut out from the outside world. And they keep funding these places because they don't want these people to actually get out in society, because if they ever had a chance to be heard, they may spark something in society. And this is what the Joker successfully accomplished. He made people in Gotham understand that the life that you think is normal, someone told you it was normal. Someone told you that by conforming to what someone created for you is good. Don't question anything. Just do what you're told. Don't ask why. But see, the Joker character, he made people ask that question. Are the good guys really the good guys? Because would you really be a good guy if you don't create a villain? Would everybody in society see you to be as good as you claim to be, i.e. Thomas Wayne? And y'all will learn who Thomas Wayne is when y'all watch the movie. Is Thomas Wayne really a good guy? Is the guy who Robert De Niro played, Was he really a good guy? Was he really? And if he is, prove to me what makes him a good guy. Because what actually made the Joker a bad guy? What made him be considered a villain? Because he's been treated awfully his whole life. He was treated awfully his whole life. Nothing ever came out good for him. Everything that he tried. Everything. Everybody in his life lied to him, let him down. Really didn't believe in who he was. On top of him going out every day and people harming him and making him feel worthless. See, I hear a lot of people talk shit about the whole, black pill perspective and how, you sound defeated, and nah. There's actually people in society who live like the Joker. There's people in society who feels like Arthur Fleck, who life mirrors Arthur Fleck. That movie Us, there's people in society that's like those people. I bet y'all don't know that people live in the subways in New York City. There's people who live in the sewers. Who lives underground. There's a whole network of people that live there. That's a fact. That's why the movie Us was created. To show you that there's actually people that live like that. And there's been people who've been living in the tunnels of New York City train stations for years. For years. For years. Why do you think New York is considered an underground city? So, and mind you, to make the connection to Arthur Fleck, a lot of these people that are homeless, that are in psych wards, that are just written off by the higher ups in society, a lot of them have family members who are the higher ups. they come from well-to-do people. And they was just thrown in the psych ward and written off for the rest of their life, and their whole family forgot about them. You think that shit is just a movie? That's real life. And you're just written off as being crazy and psychotic. And they take everything from you. Everything you were supposed to be rewarded for. Things that they had in your name, and they take your name out of wills and all of these things. And you're just written off and thrown away. Because see, when y'all see the movie, y'all going to understand why Arthur and his mom, how did they end up the way that they did? Because him and his mom was poor. That's why he had to work. He had to work to pay the bills and to basically pay for his medicine. And his mom, she couldn't do anything. She couldn't work. She couldn't do anything. But in the movie, y'all gonna see that his mom used to always tell him to check the mailbox every day. Arthur, did you check the mail? Arthur, did you check the mail? And his mom was infatuated with Thomas Wayne. She always was looking for this letter from him. Because y'all going to find out the backstory behind Thomas Wayne. And if y'all understand Batman, y'all would know who Thomas Wayne was. Because what is Batman's name? Bruce Wayne. So I'm not gonna give y'all that part. But in the movie, you're gonna see that his mom always asked Arthur to check the mail. And y'all going to understand why. But another thing that I noticed in the movie that was very deep, Arthur never felt loved by anything. The only thing that he loved was his mom. But in the movie, he even fell in love. He tried to fall in love with a woman, which was another form of him trying to feel normal. You know? Because see, people who suffer from mental illness, or what people like to call mental illness, they're very imaginative. They live in that realm. This is how you get the dance that the Joker will always do. That dance came from him wanting to be in love with a woman and to be loved. So that was his way of, like, you know, dancing with her. But even that was corrupted for him. Everything he wanted to do was sabotaged some way, somehow. It's just for some reason, nothing ever went right for Arthur Fleck. And you have people in the world that happens to. And you have silly sheep who think that that's normal, that he should just keep trying. But when you watch the movie, you're going to basically, well, when I watched the movie, I felt it. That's why I said shout out to Joaquin Phoenix, because he made you feel what Arthur Fleck felt. He depicted it so well. You can feel every time he was let down. You felt it. And every time when I was watching the movie, I saw it. I said, wow. And these are the people in society that are considered villains. This is why, you know, since a kid, I always been attracted to watching, you know, watching the stories of killers, of murderers, mass murderers, serial killers, hitmen. You know, when I watched the Dateline special, if I'm not mistaken, of it was an interview that Dateline did years ago of the hitman Richard Kalinsky, the Iceman. And when I was listening to him talk, and I'm watching this dude, I'm watching his body language, and I'm in tune with him. And I'm like, this is why this dude was a serial killer. See, if you look at the life of a person, you begin to understand their perspective. See, I'm a very empathetic guy. And I have a lot of compassion for people who are, I have a very high compassionate level for people who are considered the downtrodden people. The people who are considered the lowlives, the have-nots, the people who people call losers in life. I have a lot of compassion for those people because I know that there's a story behind there. This is not something that we can say is normal. And see, this is why people are afraid to delve into the black pill perspective, because it actually lifts the veil of what we think life is. We begin to question what our existence is. Why are we here? Why are we here to continue to suffer? That's how the Joker felt. Every day I'm suffering. Every day I'm hurting. I'm crying out for help. No one's there. And with Arthur Fleck going through everything that he went through, he still had enough empathy for other people. The man will have horrible days, still hold a door for people. Still hold a door for people. Still want to make people smile. On top of him dying inside every day. But the quote unquote normal people only see him or saw him as a freak, a joke. Someone that can just be beat on and thrown away. Nobody saw Arthur for who he really was. And y'all wonder why the motto for my channel is heal before we build. Because there's millions of Arthur Flecks in society. There's thousands of Richard Kalinskis. Richard Kalinsky became the Iceman, and he started out, before he became a hitman, he was a child sociopath. He was sociopathic as a child because he said he grew up watching his mother get severely beaten by his father. And then after his dad will severely beat his mother, he'll come in there and beat him. And he internalized this pain and this trauma. And what he would start to do to release it was he would kill all the animals in the neighborhood. Like all his neighbors' pets, he would kill them. Like if they had dogs outside in the yard, he will kill the dogs. He said he used to go out and catch street cats, put them all in his backyard, put them in something, smash their heads with rocks, and then set them on fire. He was doing this at 8 years old. Richard Kalinsky, the Iceman. And then that transpired into him hurting people. You see? And he didn't never have any medicine to calm him down like Arthur did. But when y'all see, y'all gonna notice in the movie that at some point, even that's gonna stop for him. And once that stopped for him, it was over. It was over. But see, my thing is this. The guys like Arthur Fleck and Richard Kalinsky and the people who was in the movie Us and the guy that I met on a train, they're not the problem. The system is. You see? The system is the problem. Because the system incubates these people. And then when they burst out of their shell, now you got a serial killer on your hands. Now Arthur Fleck is the Joker. But why is he the Joker? Because, like he told Flip Murray, that's who Robert De Niro played. Flip Murray. Believe that's his name. I know his last name is Murray. Now let me just go back a little bit before I say what I'm going to say. Arthur loved watching the Flip Murray show. He watched it with his mom every night. So he loved him. He used to envision himself being on the show. And see, that ties into another aspect of certain people who have internalized a lot of trauma, a lot of abandonment. Why do you think a lot of people seek fame? Because they want to be recognized for something. They want the world to accept them for something. And you can go two ways about it. You can be famous or you can be infamous. You can be famous or you can be infamous. But either way, you're known for something. So Arthur, he loved watching that show and he envisioned him being on that show. He loved it. But when y'all watch the movie, y'all going to learn that even fame has a dark side to it. And Arthur is going to learn that. He's going to learn that. He is. But like I was saying, people want to be recognized in life for something. And a lot of your famous people today, they come from a dark past. They want to be famous because that's their way of fitting in. That's their way of feeling normal, although they know they're not normal. This is why you hear the dark side of the industry. You find out, a lot of these guys are, they have a lot of issues. And why do you think that's so? It's because they want to be normal, man. And Arthur Fleck, his whole life, that's all he was trying to do. That's all he wanted to do. But at some point, he realized that he wasn't normal. He wasn't. And that no matter how much he tried, he was never going to be seen as normal. No matter what. He was never going to be seen as a normal person. He never was going to live the normal, mundane existence as everybody else in society did. And when he accepted that, and this is why people don't like dealing with black pill. When you accept the darkness of this world, of this society, and what part you have experienced in it, you have the Joker. Because like he said, I want to be called the Joker because I am the joke. So y'all marinate on that. That's my perspective on the movie. Shout out to y'all for tuning in. Much love. I'm going to go through the chat, say what up to everybody, and then we're going to close this out. Because if I keep going, I'm going to give up the movie, and I don't want to do that. I already gave a few spoilers, man, so I don't really want to keep going. I might go see the movie again. Because I love the movie. I love the goddamn movie. PM46, I appreciate you. Appreciate you. Thanks for the support. My man Keith, what's going on, man? BYB, what's going on, BYB? Oh, what's good, James? What's good, bro? I appreciate that, man. I appreciate the support. Partly Cloudy, what's good, brother? Thanks for tuning in. What's good, Back Down? Shout out to you. My man Tony Smith, what's good, bro? My big brother Darren, what's good, man? Shout out to Devastation, what's good, Devastation? Shout out to the fam, Hill Zen. What's good, sis? Shout out to the great moderator, Poetic Cows. Shout out to my big brother Rob. I appreciate you, bro. All reliable, what's going on? What up, Kendra? Thanks for tuning in, sis. Much love. Frame Runner, appreciate you for tuning in. Shout out to the big bro, Sonny. What's good, bro? Mr. Sutton, what's good, my brother? Shout out to the Av, man. Shout out to the Av. What up, cats? Thanks for tuning in, cats. Man, shout out to everybody, man. Shout out to everybody that's listening. Shout out to everybody that came through. Shout out to Ty Brown. I appreciate it. Thanks for tuning in. Shout out to my man Torin on the check-in. You just tuning in, man. You might have to catch the playback, bro. I appreciate it, BYB. But I appreciate everybody for tuning in tonight. Much love, man. Okay, I'm a look that up, BYB. Man, you already know, Rob. You already know, big bro. You already know, man. But if, like I said, if you just tuning in, make sure you hit that like button and catch the replay. Also share this stream, share it out. That's very much appreciated. If you appreciate the content, the donation links is in the chat room. You can hit me on Streamlabs, Cash App. It's there. The donation links are there. Much love to y'all. Whoever just tuning in, y'all catch the replay. If you're new here, make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can be notified every time I drop some new content. This is DS1 Raw, so Sheep Stay Sleep TV. And remember, y'all, we got to heal before we build. We got to heal before we build. Make sure y'all check out that Joker movie, man. Make sure y'all go check it out. And don't watch it like it's a normal movie, man. Go in there with your eyes and your ears open and, really analyze what you're looking at, man. I appreciate it, Miss V. Much love to you, Miss V. I'm going to catch y'all on the next one, y'all. DS1, Sheep Stay Sleep TV. We out. Peace.